I'd like to call to order the January 2022 council meeting of the Allendale County Chamber of Commerce, Allendale County Council. I was looking at something else earlier. Ask Mr. Officer, do I have vacation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let us pray. Oh, Heavenly Father, we beseech Thee for this day and for this hour and for another opportunity to serve the community of Allendale County. We ask that You bless our county, our state, our country. These are all blessings we ask in a holy and most merciful name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And welcome everybody to the first meeting of the Allendale County Council of 2022. We do have a quorum. We are missing one person, Ms. Teresa Taylor, who's a little bit under the weather. Certainly hope her be feeling better soon. So we do have a quorum. I have motion approval of agendas.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second. All in favor? Nays? Approved. We have approval of minutes, December 15th. Emergency council meeting.
So move.
Second. All in favor? Approved. And of course, December 16th, regular council meeting minutes.
So move.
Second. Favor? All right, welcome everybody and Happy New Year. I need a public comments. Where are they at? First person I have is Mr. Charles Allen, zoning. Does anyone else have a public comment? Mr. Ranger, you had one too, but Mr. Allen, come up to the front there. What do you do, G&E, bud?
Wore it out.
Old age and 2 days. Right, here, oh, just fine, buddy. You're fine.
All right.
Make sure everybody can hear you.
Okay, well,
All right, Mr. Charles, what's going on?
well, my concern is, I'm in the process of trying to sell a house in Sycamore, and the people want to put in a assisted living home. And the way Mr. Moulton was telling me is zoned, that we cannot do that. And I'd like to make a motion to appeal that zoning and see if I can get it changed to where I can go forward with the sale and maybe help the community and help the county with another assisted living home. And I'd like to know what I got to do to appeal it.
I'm a little bit aware of this, Mr. Conley told me about because that's his district. From what I understand, and we're going to appoint one person to the zoning appeals commission. You have to go in front of the zoning appeals and appeal that. We're going to appoint one person tonight. We still need to appoint two more. Is that correct? Matthew, might just be an attorney.
We got point three.
We got two tonight. Mr. Robinson, do you have one somebody?
I will have one by Monday.
By Monday? Okay. Mr. Sanders, I'm sure Mr. Allen's in a hurry to get this done. He don't wait another 30 days. Can we possibly take this vote by Zoom or by email, just by appointing this person, the next person?
You mean to appoint
I mean, because we've got one person we're going to appoint tonight.
Yeah.
But the other two, we did not have appointments for yet. I mean, can we do this via Zoom, via email?
Yes.
How can we legally do that? Because this is an appointment.
You can do it by Zoom or email, as long as, y'all all agree on it.
Okay.
It has to be done in a council meeting.
We'll actually have, the town of Ulmer, appoints one, town of Sycamore appoints one, and then we nominate three. Those two municipalities have nominated their two. So I talked to Mr. Mole and we went over it. As soon as we get the board in place, you go to his office and then tell me when to fill it, and that'll be the start.
They gonna notify me when you get the board set up? Or?
I'll call you as soon as we get the nominations. Yes.
Hopefully by Monday, Tuesday, we should have all this cleared up. You can meet sometime next week or the following week.
Okay, well, I've got another concern too.
Hit me with it.
Well, hold on one second, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Chairman. What you really need to do is ask for a variance from the current zoning to allow that particular use in that particular district.
Well, that's what I'm here to find out what I need
You're not
to
really
do.
appealing, you want a variance from the zoning, because it's not zoned for multi-housing or whatever.
Yeah, but that's why I'm here to find out what I got to do to get it rezoned or what's going on.
That's what you want to do, is do a variance just for that particular.
Mr. Chairman, for me,
Yes, sir.
and I've got the procedures.
Well, showed me the zoning, what Zone 7 consists of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got actually the book that tells you what you need to do if you want to apply, appeal for a variance or whatever, so.
Okay.
And I'll be glad to share that with
All right.
you. I'll get it to you.
Yeah, and then I got another concern.
You got a lot of concerns, don't you, John?
Yeah, I have.
What you got, mate?
I mean, You know, I got to go through all this to try to sell a piece of property. How can the county go up there to Martin and build a park with no drawings and no permits or no nothing? And I asked Mr. Moe for a copy, let me look at the drawings, engineering drawings for that park, and there's none. He told me I wasn't allowed to see them, that there was government documents, and that I could not see them unless y'all approved for me to look at them.
I'd like to see them too, so when you get them, I'd like to see a copy of them myself.
Well, I want to know, and why are they still going forward with construction with no permits? And I asked the zoning and the building committee, why didn't they shut it down? And they told me that they did not have the authority to stop work up there. That was under administrator's ruling, and they didn't have the authority to stop it. But you know, last year when I fought to build my building, everybody in the world tried to stop me. And I had to go spend money to get a set of engineering drawings. So why don't the county have a set?
I agree with you.
Your brother was the one trying to stop you, the county was not.
Yeah.
We went by laws like you're supposed to do. If you don't have lawyers, you got nothing. And that project in Martin Valley got nothing to do with your,
Yep, but I'm a citizen of Allendale County.
I know that, but I'm just telling you, that doesn't
Okay,
have darn
I'll
thing to
forget
do.
about
We're trying to cooperate with you, but you keep on.
But hey,
You're gonna be back in the same situation was when you tried to build.
and I'm gonna tell you now, my brother's gonna fight this tooth and nail. He done said he was gonna
Why?
fight it. Huh?
Why?
Because it's next door to his house.
God almighty.
Anyway, we're gonna do what we can do to comply with you.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Charles.
And you let me know when they have zoning approved.
I certainly will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm not even gonna try your last name again.
Dragonetti. Dragonetti, that seems to be
Dragonetti.
difficult for everybody down here.
You're not from the south, are you, Dragon?
No, I guess people have told me I'm gonna call the damn Yankee.
Yeah, you wanted to tell me you never go home, do you?
Staying. So, I apologize for that.
That's fine.
But,
Well, thanks for coming to Allendale County and making an investment. What can we do for you this evening?
yeah, so my family and I purchased the golf course out on Barton Road there in 2019. My younger son has his professional motocross racing card, and he's always wanted to open up a training and riding facility. So we looked around, and we happened to see the golf course for sale, and that's every motocross rider's dream, is to ride around on a golf course. But so we purchased it. The taxes for the 2019 year were $4,200. The following year, I get my tax notice, and there's $7,858. I was like, well, it went from $4,200 to $7,800. So I went down and I spoke to Mr. Rouse down there, and we went back and forth, and they ended up getting reduced down. There was a building that was fallen down that we took off, so it got reduced down to $3,600, which was reasonable. I said, okay, it actually went down a little bit because there was one less building. So this year I get the tax notice and it's $5,428. I said, no, it went way back up again. So I went back down, spoke to him. We kind of negotiated back and forth, if you call it that, but we talked a little bit, and he said he might bring the land value down to about 87. I said, I'm still not good with that, but I ended up getting the tax or checking online, and he brought the land to 77, so my taxes went to $36.41. That was like a $39 increase over the year, which I felt was reasonable. So I paid those. My question is kind of like, is this, like each year, am I going to have to go and fight for this? I mean, it went to 7,800, now it went to 5,400. I know he was pretty set on reassessing the land up to about 87, which is 10 more than he has it assessed now. So I just wasn't sure like what the procedure is going on here.
Mr. Robinson, you want to tackle it?
Well, I would say you did a good job renegotiating that, and that's common. Through my history, assessors generally have some latitude in what they can do
Right.
with open property as well as structural that may be on the property.
Right.
And he probably did it on the high side and was able to, based on the guidelines,
Okay.
give you those
Yeah.
breaks. Sounded like you just $40 more than last year, so you.
Yeah, I mean, that was reasonable, I mean, he was
The
very
issue is it keeps going
cordial.
up and going down. I mean,
Yeah, well-
I should know what I'm the reason for that. I'd like to know that myself.
I do know every 5 years, we do have a reassessment. Now,
Right, so that would have, I'm not sure what the 5th year was, but then, like I say, it got reassessed again, or I don't know if it was reassessed, but it was assessed
It
in the
should-
value.
Now, I don't know what kind of guidelines the state gives him in terms of commercial property, because that is.
It is zoned commercial, yes, yes.
So it's kind of out of my league as
Right.
to what those guidelines may be, but I would say you shouldn't see that 33% increase.
Yeah.
Should never happen in 1 year after
Right,
the next.
yeah.
So I think he probably looked at it on the high side, and the fact that he was able to bring it down kind of tells me that it was on the high side.
Yeah,
I would
that's,
just let him know that you're available before you make another assessment of it, to come and sit and talk with him. And because I think you know your property better than he does.
yeah,
And even though they're required to go out and do a physical visit from time to time, we depend on reassessment every 5 years, because, the prices do go up.
sure, yeah,
And
that's understandable.
our major form of revenue would be that taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, no, that's understandable. I just wasn't sure, like I said, he kept going up, and he was, I mean, he was very cordial and very polite. It was, we weren't adversarial at it at all. It was very good. I mean, he had mentioned about the price I paid for it, which I know I paid high from what it probably should have been, what everybody told me it should have been, but my son wanted to start the business. It was a perfect place for us, being in the town here and that. It was, it was just worked out perfect.
How is your property assessed? Agricultural what?
Commercial, 6%.
Oh, so that's what, commercial, okay.
Yeah. And I understand it was my fault, because I guess I didn't realize they send out a letter somewhere in April or something about the reassessment. It doesn't tell you what the value is how much it's gonna be. It just tells you that, the land was assessed at this and this was assessed. So I really wasn't able to do the calculation until I looked back and started figuring it out.
that letter should say you have a certain amount of time to.
Yes, yeah, definitely, and I certainly missed that time, and now I know what that letter is. I didn't realize that it was going to be that big of an increase, so I just wanted to inform you about what was going on. I didn't know if that was a normal thing or not. I mean, New Jersey coming from New Jersey is a little different.
Well, from New Jersey, they're gonna tell you what it is, and you might be able to talk,
Well,
but
yeah,
they
well-
won't listen.
I mean, I know that the taxes are definitely different than up there, but still, it was just that, going up and down like that. I just didn't want to have to, as a fight every year for it. I mean, I didn't understand if, business, and when we looked into some of the taxes that other businesses in the area were paying, it was, more than some of these other ones were paying.
Where are you from?
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Originally, the
How many
northeast,
acres you got here?
67
67.
total with the house
You ever
and,
compared the value here against what it would be like in New Jersey? Taxes?
it's, I know the purchase of it, because we have other friends who are trying to purchase about 5 or 6 acres, or maybe a little bit more, 8 acres to purchase and build a track, and they're looking at 1.2 million.
I think you're getting a deal out of it.
I am getting a deal out here, that's for sure, but, I'm trying to run the business as a new business and keep, keep it going. It's, then when you get hit with a $3,000 raise in taxes, that's a big chunk of money for us.
I will agree with you,
as
that's a lot,
a
that's
new
a considerable
business.
amount in 1 year, yeah.
Yeah, so $39, that was okay. I paid that, I was happy with that, so.
Got one other question. When we met with you several years ago, you talked about opening it up, trying to get some of the kids involved. And I hope you still got that on your radar.
Yes, we do. We had a person who was going to give us some motorcycles to use for them if they don't have it, where they can set it up and have them come in and train, but we don't have that right now. It's an expensive sport. It's difficult to get started without the equipment. So we have some helmets and some boots, but the motorcycles, I mean, my son just bought his motorcycle. It's $13,000 for a motorcycle, you know. So getting a few rentals that would be able to introduce them, but yeah, no, we definitely still like to do that. We're trying to expand. We unfortunately that last storm a few weeks ago destroyed our track. We just had to rebuild, and that was a $15,000 cost. It's tough to handle, but we're still going. We're going good. We're happy. So, all right, appreciate it, Tom. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other public comments we have? That's all the public we got. All right. No visitors, so I guess we're going right into council reports. I'll be first. Don, you got that slide ready? People online can see it. Council, I gave you a packet, a couple of things. First picture probably pretty much tells the tale of Allendale County Parks Recreation, or Morrison Park. I received a call last Thursday. I went out on Sunday and took a look, and just take a look at the entrance to the park. You got an old tire at the entranceway, beer cans, and that park hadn't been cleaned. I'm not sure who's responsible is to clean it. Bill? Is that our public works department? I mean, do we need to get with the sheriff's office and get some prisoners out there to do it? But those kids should not have to be playing basketball. First of all, when the court had been resurfaced, more or less, when you pull in, there's an old tire laying there, beer cans and everything else.
Trash all over.
Trash, it's terrible. It's an embarrassment to everybody in this county. So whose responsibility is that?
I will get with Parks and Rec and Public Works and make sure that gets taken care of.
All right, when can I expect the answer?
I'll get
Tomorrow,
with you
Monday at the latest?
Yep.
All right, Monday at the
And you
latest.
said it's Morris,
Allendale or county?
Allendale County owns that park.
and that's Morris Homes Park.
Yep. We need to stay on that. All these parks need to be cut, they need to be clean. And if we can do something with the sheriff's office or whoever to get prisoners out there, that needs to be taken care of. These kids should not have to be submitted to that. The basketball court looks atrocious. There's grass growing up in it. On the baseball field out there, there's tires on the baseball field. So, we got I got new committees coming tonight, Mr. Robinson. You get to be on Parks and Recreation, so you'll be in the hot seat for that one, son.
I'll say that.
Okay, I just want to let that know. Also, Mr. Goodson, we have talked several times about putting an employee time clock in. We know who's working and when. Where do we stand on that? I mean, we've been talking about this for a year and a half, 2 years, so where do we stand?
Right, and that is at the top of my list for this coming, over the next month, to get the gap put in. So Rick, I'll have an update on that by next council meeting. I'm getting on that.
Next council meeting, okay. I'll have some concerns about, county's short on money, need raises, and I mean, we just need to know when employees working, when they aren't working.
And I'm just working with the payroll people to help get that installed.
I think that system will more than pay for itself, in my opinion. I think council will agree with that. All right, that's pretty much all I got. Everything else will be in these committees and all other stuff. All right, next, Mr. Matthew Conley.
I don't have a whole lot. I'd just like to give a shout out to Mr. Nate Hartley and Mr. Robinson and their men's group for, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, they had a meeting at the James Brandt building for some concerns for the county and community. And I thought it was very well organized. Mr. Hartley did a wonderful job hosting it. It was very well attended, and I think had some good results out of it. Unfortunately, I had to leave a little bit early, but I just want to give them kudos for a job well done. And then I got some stuff later on in the meeting, but that's all I got for my report.
All right. Councilman Goody?
I'm like Mr. Conley, not a whole lot. The Public Services Committee has not met. I think I have a hard time kind of understanding that this is a stopgap committee in which you hear problems and wants and demands and things like that, and we decide whether it's enough interest to take it on to the big county. But we haven't had anything come up of that nature here in probably 6 months. So other things maybe in executive session.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, just a couple of things. I think we all received a policy report from Association of County. These are the legislative items that SCA will be addressing before our legislators for the 2022 legislative year. So I would advise that you take a few minutes and go through that and see exactly what we're going to be representing the counties, not only Allendale, but throughout the state on these issues that are pretty dear to county government. Also, Mr. Goodson and I had a Zoom meeting with Clemson and a group out of Indiana. Clemson is still working on behalf of Allendale County, and this in conjunction with the CD Bang project. They're trying to obtain a grant for training. I thought we had a pretty good interview with the Ascenian that's actually going to be providing the grant. So we'll keep you posted on that. This grant will pay for 2 or 3 individuals to go out to Indiana for training and hopefully come back with some real tools that we can really share with the citizens and do some real development. Also, you probably have not heard about PILT, payment in lieu of taxes. That's the fee we get from SRS. Last year, budget from Congress did not have the PILT in that. But we hustled through Rick McLeod from SRS CRO and was able to get our legislators to put it in there. And the rest is history. Well, in anticipation of the same thing, a group out of Washington State, if you're familiar with Hanford, it's one of the first and largest nuclear facilities throughout the country. They started a effort which include SRS, include the counties, Allendale, Baltimore, and Aiken. We had a Zoom meeting. They sent out a letter. This letter does not involve the county, but they want to keep the county in the loop. That letter will be generated by the school superintendents, basically asking DOE and asking our congressman to provide a PILT fund. Now, we only get about 90,000, Baltimore get about 4.2 mil, Aiken about 1.6 mil. But we are at the table, and we met, Mr. Gibson and I met with the school superintendent on Tuesday, presented that letter to her, asked her to consider signing that letter or generating a letter, and she was more than willing to do that. So once the final letter has been determined, we will certainly present a copy to council so you know what's going up to DC. Lastly, recreation. I too been at Morrison, very disappointed, I think on Thursday. And recreation is something that we need to do a better job. And
Seems like we have this conversation every year.
we do. And I talked with Matthew when he came in about it. I didn't realize he was no longer with us on this, but Rick, I hope you and I can work together to kind of make this thing go in a different
We'd like to
direction.
make it, in the rec department, we'd like to make, there's got to be some change made. Ever since I've been on council, it's going on 4 years.
I know.
It's time to make some changes here.
Absolutely.
We're going to have to do something with this recreation department, activities for these kids, the parks look terrible. We've got to do something.
And also, on next Wednesday, the TAC committee, as you know, is the Transportation Advisory Committee of Low Savannah Council Government. I serve as chairman. We meet in St. Matthews next Wednesday. We'll be talking about some of the projects that's ongoing and some of the projects that will be coming, like the 321, 278 widening and the 1 Street designation in Fairfax. Hopefully, if we stick on schedule, and I can be able to brief you after 26, we ought to see that project begin, I would say, the 3rd quarter of 2022. It's going to be, as you know, it's a different project simply because of that intersection and the turn lanes. And basically what you're going to see, and CSX has already blocked off the the crossing there, so it's gonna be a one-way street around that circle, around Govan, but you're gonna have a wide enough area coming off to make that turn off 321 down to 278 and vice versa, so it should be a big improvement for that area, so.
All right.
And lastly, I'm willing to, at least with my new committee person and the chair, you know, make some harsh recommendation on recreation. And I'd like for council to at least consider it.
Okay.
And also, you see my wish list. I talked with Representative Posey, and we need to go ahead and decide what we're going to do on that. Simply, this is new money. The legislators will have $200 million of new projects. And Allendale, the town of Allendale has already sent the delegation some of their wish list. And what I have there is about $26 million. And these are projects that's going to benefit us economically. We're talking about a countywide water system. We're talking about funding public safety for 2 years. Of course, the City of Dayton redevelopment, and also something for small business. So it's send everything, get it to Mr. Goodson by the end of the week so we can go ahead and fabricate a list.
You want us to set a priority list and give it to him?
Set what you want. They can only say no.
Well, but particularly this, I don't agree with small business grants or startups.
That's fine.
Because unless these people who get this grant money to start up their business are made to go to school to learn how to start up a business and how to run the business for a year. We've got every day 20 businesses starting up in Allendale County. They last maybe a week, 10 days, and they're gone. The money's gone.
I know. But hopefully they're using their own money on that.
That's a small amount of money, but
Yeah, that's the first one. But anyway, that's my report, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Mr. Goodson, your turn.
All right, I'd like to inform council that with the release of our $4 million at the end of the year, the old mental health building, I got email from the state, the contract, which I forwarded to Walter Sanders for the county. We've got, included in that $4 million was $176,800 that the delegation added into our state funds and
You talking about, is that a local government fund?
yeah, and it came from through the public safety part of the state.
This is for the new sheriff's office?
This is for the new sheriff's office at the old mental health building.
Okay, so it's to help set up that office?
It's for us to purchase, when we walked through.
They gave us money to give back to them.
Basically, yes.
Okay.
And then I just got the legal agreement I've sent to Walter for him to review, and we've already got the money once that takes place. So hopefully, next several months, 6 months, we'll have the sheriff's department over across from the courthouse.
All right, layman's terms, we're getting a new sheriff's office, so what you're
Basically, yes,
saying.
yeah.
What you're, okay, I just want to make sure everybody understands this.
Yeah.
They gave us $176,800 to purchase the building from themselves for us to move our Allendale County Sheriff's Office to the old mental health building.
Correct.
Gotcha. All right, one thing you need to make sure is PRTC knows they need to run fiber optics and everything, not to the old sheriff's office, but to this new one. They need to be aware of that.
And I just confirmed that with Donnie, and he said that is.
Are they aware of that, Donnie?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make
Still
sure.
got fiber going into there because you still got them in the maintenance department. But
Okay.
This is hooked up over here, it was already there.
Oh, was okay, great. So that's no hold up in the process then. Good deal.
And speaking of PRTC, they started the admin building today running lines. I think they're coming up to the courthouse tomorrow. Donnie, am I right? To start running the cables and stuff for the new phone and internet system. For the month of December, we brought in almost $2.8 million in tax revenue. The county gets right at a little over $1 million of that. The rest, the school and the hospital, and there's a small philo that was paid. I think council saw where I got a call from Crystal at the auditor's office, telling me that, this DOR is coming down next Thursday to review our FILO, agreements. She told me that is done annually, because I asked, was this a random? She said, no, it's done annually, and that, they didn't do it last year because of COVID. And then I also got a letter from another part of DOR. They're coming to audit our penny sales tax projects from July of 2018 to June of 2021. And I've spoke to her briefly today. She and I are going to go over the details on Monday, and I'll let council know when they're
Well, the
coming
next
down.
county councilman, can we possibly have a printout of what, I've been trying to get this for years, what we have in the penny sales tax, what we'll spend on what project?
Yeah,
I think that'd be important for council to know. It'd be nice for me to know as chairman. I'd like to know.
yeah, and just to remind you, Chairman Gooding, when I came on board, what the process was the county administrator would sign the form. It was sent over to the treasurer's office. The treasurer wrote those checks out and kept all those documents. I've got Miss Alice looking for all that, because we're going to need it for the audit as well too. So
I'll certainly help on the next council. I'd like to know, do we have any money left in those accounts? I'd really like to know.
Okay.
Rick, one of the things that we did, unlike any of the other grants, we actually issued a bond. So what we did, the bond money actually paid for the projects, and the 1 cent sales tax paid back the bond.
Has the bond been paid back?
No, it's, you know, it's still a 7-year process, but we did that so we wouldn't have to wait on the money to come. So
And it looks like, I think we have about $1 million in there, I think, Bill, am I correct in that?
I don't know.
I think.
That's one of the things I'd like for you to find out.
Yeah.
Because
This is the first time I'm ever hearing this. So.
well, it's been said more than once, Rick. We
I've
did.
never heard it.
Well, we did a 3.2 million bond. And I think if I remember, Walter, it's sort of like, it was about $300,000 to $400,000 less than the project, less than the money that we were going to generate in 7 years. I think we was going to generate it based on 3.5. All the projects was like 3.2. And the reason for the bond was to be able to not wait on the money and be able to go from one project to the next and let the penny sale tax pay back the bond. Now what happens on this, every year that money sits, that bond money sits, we pay interest on it. I remember the last time the interest was like $25,000 because we wasn't using it. So we need to find out exactly how much money is in that bond.
That'd be a great idea, to find out how much money we got in the bond, what do we owe, and just how much we got coming in. I got an idea, if I may, Bill, interrupt you. Where we stand in the women's wing of the jail? Talking about, that's the penny sales tax project. The women's wing of the jail, that's the penny sales tax project, correct?
It is Chairman Gooding.
Where do we stand on that?
I spoke to the fire chief. There's some wiring things that they're having to get straightened out over there, but that's the final, from my understanding, that's the final part of it. I spoke to him last week. I will follow up on that. And as you probably know, we heard a little while ago, Martin Park is being, the issues out there are being addressed right now too.
Yeah, well, the gentleman's backyard was flooding.
Yep. So.
And he's been requesting for a year and a half, we got that straight
I think
out.
that's Mr. Robinson over there.
And then the other.
Big John?
The other project that we had since I've been here was the new generator for the hospital and the nursing home. That's already been installed and taken care of as well.
So all our penny sales tax project, we got one that's complete and final?
Yes.
Good deal.
Okay.
Mr.
One out of
Chairman,
4.
could I ask a Bill?
Sure.
And you two, this jail, we put a lot of money into it with the women's side, right? And have not been able to use it because you couldn't complete and come up with standards. Is it not possible to use some of this money you're talking about spending in order to do that, finish it up and get it rolling and operating?
It'd be a good project to put on the wish list.
A lot better than some of these. But I mean, it's sitting there, you've got, how many?
You talking about my wish list
Sure.
now. I didn't call your wish list
What about
bad.
how many millions of dollars we have in there?
Excuse me?
Invested in that building, or how much are we invested in?
I'll have you reports, next month.
It's gotta
I'll
be
get those for you.
$3 or $4
Yeah,
million.
I can tell you that when I
You're
first,
over budget on it, it's not that much, but you're over budget on it, I can tell you.
yeah, it's
But
way
it
up.
looks to me like we can use some of this money to get even on some of these projects and move them into completion instead of letting them all look for money. How about the town hall and the community center in Fairfax? Don't we have money in that?
Yeah, but the outside's
I
finished, the inside's not
cut, I
finished.
cut it off,
We-
yeah. Well, when we got to the amount that it was on there, I could cut.
We
cut
capped
off.
it, I think it was capped at 200,000 or 300,000, so once we met that cap, we cut it off.
So it sits there in limbo, nobody gonna use it?
I mean, I don't know that, Carl, you may have to talk with Fairfax, but I think the legislators have appropriated additional dollars to help complete it.
Okay, all right. Bill, you got something else?
No, and the only thing I wanted to add to the women's arm of the jail, I think the main issue was the wiring being connected to the existing jail, and now, that's been the main issue, is there was already some issues at the jail that needed to be addressed. When they bent the women's arm, I guess that's been the main issue, from my understanding.
I think there was a poor coordination between the construction group and the lawn folks.
Well, that was a poor coordination, but
But,
I don't know where that came from.
that's all I got right now, Chairman. Good.
All right, Mr. Sanders?
Okay, I have some things for executive session. The only thing in open session, I handed y'all a copy of the proposed redistricting ordinance. You'll notice on that in section 5, it refers to some exhibits concerning the demographic data and the actual new maps. And I talked with the people at South Carolina Revenue and Fiscal Affairs, the fellow who appeared before us last time, and indicated to him and to his assistant that it looked like the county was going to not change their districts at all, because we were below the 10% variance that the law required. And she said, well, just let me know after you'll have the second reading, and she'll prepare the new maps, which will be the same. But
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
That's a great idea, but I would certainly wish the new maps will actually name streets. And I say that in my district, I've been known to go outside my district because in reading that map, it's not clear. It's not clear enough. So if they could actually give us a blowout section of each of the district, a complete map, then a blowout, that certainly would help.
okay, well, I can ask her when I get back with it.
Please.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
All your executive session stuff. All right, Mr. Collins, next on the list is old business, third reading of ordinance repealing ordinance 2019-004.
An ordinance repealing ordinance number 2019-004 being an ordinance to provide Allendale County Council insurance coverage. Whereas Allendale County Council passed ordinance number 2019-004 on April 4th, 2019, being an ordinance to provide Allendale County Council insurance coverage. Whereas the Allendale County Council believes it is in the best interest of the citizens of Allendale County to repeal and set aside in its entirety ordinance number 2019-004. Now therefore be it ordained by the Allendale County Council. Section 1 ordinance number 2019-004, an ordinance to provide Allendale County Council insurance coverage, be and the same, and hereby repealed and set aside in its entirety, and hereby declared to be null and void and to have no force and effect, and the county of Allendale shall not be bound under the terms of the said ordinance. Section 2, the ordinance shall take effect immediately upon passage. And again, for just clarity, this is the ordinance that provided lifetime insurance coverage for county council members. And I make that motion to accept the third reading.
Where do we leave this on the second reading? You guys will come up with some options.
Yeah, and I told Matt, I would, at some point, reintroduce, I've been in contact with Baldwin County. They had this on their agenda in December and decided to do additional study. I will bring back what Baldwin decided to, because initially this, I think Teresa, Councilperson Taylor, she copied what Balmer had at the time. It looks like they revised in there. So I like to see, and we'll hopefully bring a revised copy, and maybe we can take a look at it and do some revision if necessary. But I'm kind of wanting to see what Baltimore County is proposing for their council person. And I can tell you, man, we worked with the Lower Savannah Council of Government. I chaired that committee for 2 years trying to change our retirement and medical benefits for our retirees. And it's a slow process.
We got to first get rid of this ordinance, right?
Yeah, we got to first get rid of it.
I'll make the motion, if that's in order. Mr.
Second. Second. Have a second on this?
Well, I made the motion, Mr. Billy, I'll second.
Yeah, that's fine. Favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Nays?
Nay.
Nay? All right, Mr. Ross voted against it. So, all right. So, motion passed. 3-1. All right, second reading of an ordinance redistricting Allendale County pursuant to the 2020 census. I'm assuming this is what we just went back to.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Passed. All right, the 14th Street Park payment. Where do we stand?
Chairman, can I go over that in executive session? Councilwoman Taylor wanted that added to the agenda.
What seemed to be the problem with that? I thought we decided to
I
go ahead and do
spoke,
it.
well, I spoke, Chairman Goody, may I explain what we?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to.
I guess Walter.
These people need their money.
Yeah,
Thought we beating the horse down the road, though. But I thought we
Walter, do
already-
you want to explain about the contract?
Yeah,
that Council decided, please.
As y'all recall, you know, we've, some time ago, we met with Andre Walker, who is the primary person involved on the other side. And, you know, at that time, we were concerned about the insurance coverage and wanting to make sure that the county was properly covered in case there was a lawsuit or someone was injured out there. And, you know, at that meeting also, there was discussion about them providing a copy of the insurance policy every year. And we finally got a copy of the insurance policy, and I talked with the insurance agent because it wasn't clear to me that we were a party. But he pointed out to me on the documents he sent me where we were an insured party. We were not just someone who was on the policy. So that was fine. And as you recall, either last month or the month before that, you know, I told y'all that, and y'all said to go ahead and proceed, but y'all were still concerned about the insurance. And at that point, I thought that Lori had already added to the joint use agreement just the language that, you know, in the joint use agreement with the county and the Parks and Recreation and Andre Walker's, the group that he heads, there's a provision that he is to provide insurance, but there's no provision in there that he is to provide the county with a copy of the insurance policy annually. You know, once he renews it, that was no problem. But that had not been added, and when I told Laura we need to add, you know, that we were ready to disperse the money, and we were ready to, but we need to add that to the joint use agreement, Andre refused to go along with that. He didn't think that it was necessary to add that to the use agreement. And I'm thinking that y'all all copied on the emails going back and forth with
We've had several emails with that.
Yeah. So where we were he wouldn't agree to give us a copy every year, so that's probably why the payment hadn't been made. He acknowledged he understood that, and he said it was a simple thing, but that he wasn't going to agree to it because it's taken the county so long to agree to pay it. So that was basically what he said.
Am I correct in saying, yes, and I've seen so many emails and I've heard this discussion 1,000 times. We use PARD money, which we get grant money, to pay for this playground equipment that's going on his property, correct?
Right,
County does not own that part.
no.
All right, what is our liability if we're playing, what is actually our liability on this?
Well, the county does have liability, and that's why y'all.
Just because we pay for the playground equipment?
Pardon?
Because we pay for the playground equipment out of grant money?
Well, because that's right, and
And you got that joint use agreement.
we have a joint use
And
agreement.
same thing with the African American Culture Center,
Yeah,
that little park we got down there.
right.
Yeah.
But if someone gets injured out there, they're gonna sue the county, and I forget the name of Andre's group, they're gonna sue them. And that's why the county was insisted on having insurance. He's got actually a $2 million policy, and we're actually a party to it, so it wouldn't actually go against our insurance, it would go against the insurance that he's carrying.
So the issue right now, he's refusing to provide insurance
No.
on an annual basis.
Right. Well, he's not necessarily saying he's not gonna do that, but he refuses to put in the agreement that he'll give us a copy each year. So,
And Chairman Gooding, he confirmed that with me when he called me later this afternoon. He said he is not signing another agreement stating that he would supply the county with an insurance policy. And I told him, we had a council meeting tonight, I would give him a call tomorrow with the resolution.
But since I'm gonna be heading up the committee or part of that committee, I will make a call to him tomorrow. See if we can get him to recant that.
all he needs to do is actually,
And I've talked to him too, but he just, I mean, he's determined he's not gonna, and anyway, he might be a
she just
better.
adds, it's about 5 words she adds to the current one, and they initial it, and that's all that has to be
I mean,
done.
if you agree to carry insurance, but you refuse to provide a certificate of insurance annually, I think it's kind of simple.
Well, sound like you just feel like it's unnecessary, but we feel like it's necessary.
Yeah.
And it's either that or,
Well, we represent 10,000 citizens. That's what we're concerned about, taxpayers, that's what we're concerned about. I can see both sides of the argument.
oh yeah,
You gonna handle
you know,
that? You and I'm not on that committee.
I will report to you.
You the Parks Recreation. That's fine, you can give Andre a call tomorrow. Let's see if we can come to get it, because these people need to be paid. I know
Yeah.
they're waiting on the money. We need to get them paid.
Sure.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't think payment has anything to do with the insurance, I'll be totally honest with you. We're holding them hostage for something he hadn't provided, so I mean, that's, being a business owner, I understand where they're coming from.
Sure.
All right, mandate for masks and sanitizers. I was hoping when we postponed this, well, not postponed, prolonged it back, was it 90 days ago, that we would be through this COVID-19 situation, but apparently we're not, so I guess we're gonna,
Recommend that we reinstate it for another 90 days.
we got 90 more days.
And Chairman Gooding,
Yes, that's a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, got a motion, got a second?
and I want y'all to,
Person, or?
we allocated, I think, 25,000, the line item.
Or what was that money for? I remember, was it for some improvements, or?
And it was just to start a budget line item and then get together to decide what it needs to be.
I realize Mr. Evans is out, he's our animal control officer.
Right.
Fees, for right now, fees and tickets, do we have something there where we can start receiving these fees and tickets, maybe help cut some of these costs?
Well, and I spoke to him when he and I met the other day, and yes, when he starts, and if he's writing them, we won't actually receive it until it runs through the mayorship court, and then it'll flow in to, so he can write the ticket, but whenever they get to where they pay it or whatever is when we'll receive that money, Chairman Gooding. But yes, you're correct, we will get it, and it can offset some of that cost.
So I think I need to make a motion about allowing Ms. Lively to hire a person, a part-time person, 20 hours a week to help her out some.
I so move.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, so we voted to get that done get her some help 20 hours a week. Bill, you and I probably need to make a call to her, or I'll send her an email tonight or in the morning. Just tell her if she's got some idea on who can help her, because she probably knows who more care of the animals, and I trust her to help make in that decision. I trust you to let her help make that decision.
Okay.
All right, committee assignments, the new year, we got new committee assignments. I can run through them if you like for folks watching online, or Administration of Finance, Rick Goody, he'll be the chair, Matthew Conley will be on there with me. Personnel and Policy Committee, Ms. Teresa Taylor will be on there, she'll be the chair. Mr. Bill Robinson be on there. Public Service and County Planning, Councilperson Gooding will be the chair, Mr. Robinson will be on there. Justice and Public Safety, this committee is going to be of law enforcement and public safety and EMS, things like that. It'll be Matthew Conley be the chair, Rick Gooding will be on there. Parks Recreation, Mr. Bill Robinson will be on there, and Ms. Teresa Taylor. One problem I didn't realize was, I just thought about when I saw that Teresa has a person related to her working at it. Do I need to remove her from that?
She has what now?
Well, a person related to her working in that, do I need to take Teresa off of that?
I don't mind filling again if I need to.
All right, let me remove Teresa from that and let Matthew do that. I apologize.
Are you gonna make me the chair here?
Yes, sir, you're the chair.
Okay.
Office on Aging, Ms. Teresa Taylor will be the chair. Councilman Robinson will be on there. Three Rivers Solid Waste didn't change, that's Teresa Taylor, I'll be the alternate on that. Three Rivers Technology, Teresa, and I'll be the alternate. Allendale County Aeronautics, Mr. Robinson, you'll be the chair. No change there, Ms. Taylor. SCAT, Mr. Gooding, you're the chair. Mr. Conley, you're on there. SCRSO, Matthew Conley.
I think that one we talked about last year,
Yeah.
doesn't need to be on there. I
Yeah,
think
and
Ms.
then-
Ann Rice serves
Yeah.
on that order.
Is that one you mean about someone else, Ann Rice, Miss Ann? Okay.
That's right, isn't it, Mr.
Yeah.
Rice?
On Little Sound Council Government Board, no change there. Ms. Taylor, Mr. Robinson. Allendale County Board of Assessment Appeals, Mr. Robinson, Ms. Taylor. Allendale County Grievance Committee, Mr. Robinson's the chair, Ms. Taylor's on there. Allendale County Hospital Board of Directors, I guess that's just, we just on there as,
Reps.
yeah, be Mr. Gooding and Mr. Robinson. Library Board members remain the same, that's Teresa Taylor, Bill Robinson. Workforce Development, Mr. Randy Hudson, Donnella Robinson. Transportation Committee will be Matthew Conley and Teresa Taylor. And Allendale County Community Relations Commission will be Bill Robinson and Teresa Taylor. The SC Insurance Trust Membership Meeting, no idea what this is. We have Gidget on there. Ms. Teresa is the chair. Bill Goodson's administrator, he's on there. We have Gidget on there as risk management. Now, we need to do something about that.
Yeah.
I did not realize we left her on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bill, if you look on the Water District Boards,
Okay.
I don't know what that even is. I'm listed on there along with Mr. Rice, Larry Cohen, Donnell Robinson, Mr. Mark Light.
Okay.
I don't know how we even begin to find out when the terms end on these things. We've got more committees in this county than I've ever seen. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with nobody on them, so. What do we need to do, Mr. Sanders, to get rid of some of these? We have an Allendale County Housing Committee.
And that's a low Savannah Council of Government. And Wilbur Cave serves on that. He represents Allendale County on that housing committee.
When does the term expire? Who appointed him?
Well, we appointed him, and, but there's no expiration on it, to my knowledge. All 6 counties appoint at least one or more. The largest counties may have 2 to that housing authority.
Saukatchee Leadership Advisory Council, what is that?
That's, I think, the leadership, and I've never known anybody on this council to serve on that.
Okay, that's why I was just wondering whether we needed to keep all these listed, but I mean, I think it might be, can we just delete these committees, get rid of them?
Well, I think any committee that the county formed, you can delete, but if they're formed by other entities, then you would need to look and see what their provisions are for your members.
Mr. Good, I think Bob Connolly is the secretary of that Soil and Water District Board, so he can be contacted for project update.
Bob, Kansas?
Information, I'm pretty certain, yes.
Yeah, Bob's still part of that.
Okay. Allendale County Voter Registration Election Commission, I'm assuming that's our election commission we have?
There's about 5 members on that registration board, and we appoint them, but I think the legislators gotta actually, we make a recommendation.
Okay.
The legislators actually appoint them. And I think there's 5 members, and I was told they were short 1 or 2 members, so we may want to get with Bob. He
I
serves
think
on
it's only
that.
got three
Three?
members, because when we had that appeal, only 3 people were
Okay.
on the board.
But Bob's still there, isn't he?
Yeah, Bob.
I'm sure Sonia could tell us that, couldn't you? Ms. Prince could tell us that?
She should be able to.
Yeah.
I'd just like to get some of this stuff straight. The New Life Center, I mean,
I don't know who's on that.
okay.
When you get to LRTA,
Go ahead.
we need to, you need to assign someone, because I got an email saying that
We-
Louise Pinckney was still on there.
We need a good, strong person on that, because that's That's that transportation that transport our folks down the,
Is that what it is?
yeah, down the Hilton Head.
Does it need to be a council person do it? Does it need to be an outside person?
It needs to be someone who has some knowledge of LRTA and what they do, and somebody should be able to pick up on it.
Okay.
But Rick, the thing is, they will have to travel at some point, you know, because the meetings are, I don't like, can ever remember a meeting being up this way, usually gonna be down Bluffton somewhere, so.
So I need to appoint someone for that?
Yeah, provide transportation at least and meals, you know.
And just remind y'all, they are still providing the same service, and we did not have to, we took their allocation out this year just for the budget purposes.
Okay. All right, next on the list will be council nomination of zoning and appeals board. I had one person, I was gonna nominate Ms. Angel Krim Brabham.
And I will have someone Monday, let Mr. Goodson know. So,
Can we go ahead and just nominate Angel tonight, I guess, if you can do that? I'd like to make a motion to nominate Ms. Angel Krim Brabham to the
let me
nomination.
make that motion there.
Huh?
Oh, Matt, let me make it.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Make a motion that we nominate Mrs. Krim to the zoning appeal board.
I second it, but I think you got the name wrong, don't you?
Angel Krim Brown.
Mr. Bradley.
Angel Krim Brabham.
Angel.
Yeah, I'll second
Right,
that.
okay, yeah.
Just for the record.
Well, she'd never lose Krim though, I'd always be.
Legally, she's not.
All right, all in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I'm assuming you sustain?
Yeah, I sustain.
Abstain. Let the record reflect, Mr. Conley didn't, I had to abstain that because of family relations.
And also, I'd like to add, Mr. Chairman, if I could, the town of Ulmer has nominated Mr. Roger Myrick to serve from their nomination. And the town of Sycamore has nominated Mr. Coleman Lotto to serve from their appointment.
Make a motion we approve.
Second. All right, all in favor? All right. All right, that's approved. So we still need two, so Mr. Robinson, come up with somebody, or Don, if you got somebody you'd like to add on there?
On the zoning board,
Yeah,
what happened to Joey Oliver still on there?
that's a different board. Joe, this is appeals, but this is only appeals board.
I thought he was on there.
Joe, he's on the assessment board.
Who did we have on there?
We only have three right now, so we're short. We never had a zoning issue, so.
Oh, we got Don Harvey at one time.
We just give some thought to what we need to add on there. What, just email suggestions, we'll vote them by email.
Okay.
All right. That's it. Make a motion, somebody needs to make a motion to go to executive session?
So moved, sir.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All right, come back into normal session. Mr. Robinson?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, make a motion that we enter into agreement with the Art Council for the Art Council facility if it's approved by the Art Council board, that the county will be given that property, and we will, after that's been done, we will help in repairing the roof.
Yep.
I'll second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Negative? All right, that passes.
Secondly, I make a motion that we enter into a class action. You want to call it that, Walter?
Well, it is a class action, basically, that you're authorizing me as county attorney to associate some other attorneys who are involved with other counties to defend the lawsuit.
Okay. Make a motion that we enter into a class action lawsuit with other counties throughout the state, and the user fee decision that was made last year. We will be a joint party to that lawsuit.
That's to defend
Well,
it, right?
it's
To
not
defend it,
really
to
a
defend it,
lawsuit. And for clarification, they're going together and defending the current Lincoln County, Orangeburg County. And one of the attorneys who actually brought this, there are 3 attorneys, but it's Solomon, yeah.
Make a motion, we be part of the lawsuit.
Spikes and Solomon in Hampton.
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we be part of the lawsuit with the other counties involved.
You join up the other counties. Motion on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
We need a second on that, don't we?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion passes. All right. Is that everything?
Make a motion also, Mr. Chairman, that we will take the middle range for the clerk of court office, and as we stated earlier, that middle range, which should be no more than 6%.
Right. And the reason we're going to be doing this is simply because they're short an employee
Yes.
and it's turnover. Okay. All right, got a motion on the floor?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion, we adjourn.
Second? Mr. Jones?
I don't think we missed anything, did we, Matt?
Bill.
Yes, sir. Adjourn.
Keep that notes.